there's an attorney general, a deputy attorney general, former, who has said, yeah, Donald Trump is going to get indicted. Let me give you some background to this. Let's put up a picture of the former deputy AG. The former deputy attorney general, Harry Litman, estimated that former President Donald Trump will likely be forced into a deposition in about 30 days. That takes into account Trump trying to get the Supreme Court to rescue him, which Litman says really is not possible. Discussing the New York civil case, Litman explained that past playbooks by Trump don't appear to be working as he works to escape accountability for his company. Now, I want to remind you, there's a civil, then there's a criminal. Manhattan has the criminal, and New York has the civil. However, that civil can transform into a criminal, and it is likely to do so depending on what they get on the record. He has 21 days to sit for the deposition. That's what Litman told MSNBC. And 14 days for him and Don Jr. and Ivanka to turn over documents, all right? He can't appeal, but he has no real legal claim. I think the New York court will make very quick of it, even if he tries the Supreme Court. It will make quick work of it. In the past, he's been able to exploit Congress's short timeline and sort of play out the clock. I don't think he has it here, according to Litman. Within 30 days or so, he's looking at sitting down to a closed deposition. As you say, now of course, he has a silver bullet. He can take the Fifth Amendment, and I think he probably will, according to the former AG. But it's a body blow for him, of course, and a made-to-order sort of commercial, since he said that only guilty people take the Fifth. Now remember, he went on record and said only guilty people plead the Fifth Amendment, which is your right against self-incrimination. That's what Donald Trump said. Now here's what's interesting about civil versus criminal. In a civil deposition, well, you are allowed to take the Fifth. That could actually be used against you later. It's different than the criminal. This can be used against him. And it can really hurt him in the actual civil trial that the AG of New York may be doing. They can draw an adverse inference and say to the jury, you can assume what he would have said had he not taken the Fifth, which would have been bad for him. These are all new sets of development. His old playbook doesn't fit, according to the former deputy AG. Trump, here's a piece of irony here. Trump recently pitched the Saudis to host a golf tournament at one of his properties, okay? A former president trying to get money from the Saudis, but using a golf tournament as the disguise to do so. I peep game. Now there's a why to all of this. Trump's accounting firm left him last week, all right? There are legal problems mounting from the inauguration committee. They spent that money in all kinds of illegal ways. And Trump lost an appeal to dodge a subpoena in New York. Meanwhile, on the business side, Trump has roughly $600 million of debt coming due in the next few years. That will cause problems as he looks for banks that can loan him money for new projects and even his own legal defense. It might be another reason why he's reaching out to the Saudis, because he will be forced to ask privately for money in the future. An important note again, in a civil court, taking the Fifth can be put in front of a jury as admissible, and it doesn't look good in the civil case, and he has the criminal case still to contend with. I know it seems that we have been here before, but I think Donald Trump is running out of his 9 lives here. Jackson, thoughts on this?
I think that, well, first, last month, the Attorney General of New York, she released a statement, and in the end, she said, nobody can pick and choose when the law applies to them on Donald Trump. And as you pointed out, this really is a totally different game at this point, because everything that he's done over the decades is really coming to fruition now. And now that he's not in office, he's really going to start scrambling. And I think something's going to come from this. I'm not ready to say that Trump will definitely go behind bars, but I think couple people might. Somebody's going to get thrown under the bus in some type of way. So I think that this is going to continue to get more interesting.
Yeah, and I think at some point his children are going to have to make a decision, and maybe even Trump himself. Are they going to turn on each other as a family or not?